What is up, everybody? It's Sam, and we are back with another episode of Pessimistic at Best, the podcast. And I have returning guest, friend of the pod, Dylan. What's up?
Hello. It's wonderful to be here.
It's great to have you back. I am kind of realizing, I think last time you were here, it was like daytime. Now here we are in the pitch dark.
It's different. It's a different
is.
vibe. Sultry.
I know.
Ooh.
I will say I sort of hate recording my podcast at night just because I have to have like the worst lights in the house on. It's so bad in here right now.
But they're cool light fixtures.
That's true.
At least they're not.
These
just
ones
like,
are. Some of them are cool. I'm a big I mean, it's not an original thought, but I hate sort of the big light.
That's been not a spoiler, but we just moved into a new apartment, and it's lamp central in there.
Yes.
It's lamp city. We've been buying fancy bulbs.
Okay, what does that mean?
Like the Philips Hue color one, the ones that you always get influenced about.
Okay.
So we've been kind of on that grind. I have multiple apps to control lights.
Oh my god, fun. Wait, that's crazy.
So that's been an adventure. We're getting there.
That's so like 2024 futuristic of you. I kind of want to get some of those. I think I might have to see what those look like. Are you saying like colored bulbs? Like you're having like oranges?
Yes, you can go on the app. You got the whole color wheel. You got the RGB hexadecimals at your pleasure.
Wow.
So you can move it around, or you can set a specific mood. And
oh my god,
so,
fun.
Yeah. So you can set it to red, or you can blue. And then we just got some tall floor lamps that are like going in the corner or against the wall next to the TV. So you can change those ones too. So it's definitely a vibe. I will say it is slightly annoying to walk into a room and it's dark and you can't see anything. And then I have to find my phone, open the app and hit on, and then I can find my glasses or something and like move on with my day.
Totally.
So
that's how it works. Every lamp in your house.
Not every single one. I could just hit the big lights if in an emergency or something, but
okay, so fair.
So it's a mixture, but they look very cool and I love them, and I'm very excited to like just get into the groove. And you can set them to automate or something if I really wanted to. We'll see if we make it that far. But if you come over, check them out, you
absolutely
can get the vibe.
Well, because I'm definitely a lamp person. It's actually really funny. James's family just built a new house. And his dad was like bragging, like, we won't need a single lamp in this house. And I was like, I actually think that is a huge red flag. He was like, he's really excited about the dimmers. Everything's on dimmers. I was kind of like, that's actually my worst nightmare. Crazy.
I kind of wish he had just put in like one huge light that kind of the house is built like a circle. And there's just like, we only need the one light. Right. There's one light switch. And it's on like every edge or something.
Comes from the center.
Yeah, and it just kind of hits everything. There's no shadows in the house.
Yeah, that'd be so crazy. Well, it was funny too because also light adjacent, we were in the DR, and James's family's house just has cool lighting everywhere. Ooh. And I'm very much more of a warm lighting girl. I think that sets a much better mood. You don't really necessarily feel like you're being interrogated.
And the cool's a little more aggressive. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
And at Easter, James like brought it up to his family, but I was included in what we were talking about. And he was like, yeah, Samantha actually has some feedback for you. And then I said, I think it's crazy that you guys don't like lamps. And James was like, oh, no, I was talking about the beach house. And I was like, oh, right. Backtrack. Oops. Oh, my God, so funny. But then his dad kind of like doubled down on the no lamp thing.
Wow.
He thought that was a huge flex. I was kind of like that. I think that's so scary. I love my lamps.
Yeah, it's a little spooky.
And I love like a low lighting situation more than anything.
What about like in your bedroom? Like a little bedside?
That's what I'm saying. You can't just turn the big light on every time you have to do something.
I'm gonna get out of bed and dim the light.
Right. It's so bizarre. Yeah, I know. So that's what we're kind of working with. But I feel like the people here also have kind of a weird obsession with dimmers.
Well, because you have the ceiling down lights or whatever, and then you have the main light with a nice, interesting light fixture. Mm-hmm. Got a couple going on here.
I want to redo our bedroom, which I don't know if I'm allowed to do. I think I have to ask. But they have like these really ugly wall sconces. I'm not really a sconce girl. It's not for the home. I think they kind of look like they belong out of doors.
Their sconces are a little devil in the white city.
For sure.
Which also goes along. There's an apartment near our new place that has like a square metal door on the alley side of it. I'm like, that looks like where they like burned their garbage probably.
100%. I know. Well, and it's also funny. I feel like so many houses, there's one up by your old place now that has started kind of like redoing the outside, and they're making them all, it's like these nice gray stones that then they're kind of trying to like modernize on the outside with like, you know, I don't know, sort of like a brushed matte black. I'm like, that's not the vibe.
I really hate some of these buildings really try to like, the new ones, they try to get away with like, oh, it's stone on the front, and then the side is like siding, like you're in 100%. A suburb, like most of the houses near where I live. Like, I'm like, if you're gonna do
Ours
it,
is like that in the back. Which when I first saw that, I was like, okay, so we're just pretending. So this is actually just a facade. So crazy. But moving is no small feat. How are you feeling?
Good. A little tired.
Totally.
But we're done. We're through the thick of it. We moved from the third floor to the first floor now, which is nice, but it did mean lots of hauling totes and things down my back staircase.
For sure.
Like wooden, slippery. The only reason there's traction is because like the paint has worn away on some of the steps, probably from people slipping. So there's just like loose wooden shards, like, so no bare feet probably back there, but me going up and down my back staircase a lot to fill my just loads in my Toyota Camry.
Love.
To avoid
you can only fit so much.
Exactly. To avoid like buying 50 boxes, I bought like 8 to 10.
Right.
And I was like, we'll just do like a lot more loads.
Oh, so you're like reusing.
Yes. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
100%.
And then we just gave those boxes to a friend who's moving out to New York. So we're really like sustainable to counteract the fact that we bought
awesome.
an insane amount of furniture, enough packaging to like fill up our entire dining room with styrofoam and boxes, which was very stressful. But the move went really well. Movers, a godsend.
Yeah.
But I am convinced we moved. Well, like we've been cleaning the old apartment, and I'm convinced it's like the Dust Bowl. Like,
I did see some photos on Darcy's Finsta, and I was kind of like, that is actually a little bit crazy.
I've been going back to clean it myself, mainly because I don't want Darcy to go back in there because she's developed a cough.
Okay.
And I'm convinced she has tuberculosis.
Oh my God.
Or that's why I've been calling it the Dust Bowl, because it's like caked on. When we moved in, they said that they hired a cleaner. And I've seen the man who cleans the other apartments when people have moved out. So I'm sure. I'm not saying that he didn't hire a cleaner, but the man did not clean the fans. Right. He did not clean the vents. And I did that.
Yeah.
I just did that. And I put a mask on. I haven't worn a mask in a while.
I think that's okay.
But we still have about 200 to 300 masks for some reason that I moved from one apartment to the other one just in case.
Like disposable.
Yes.
Yeah.
I threw out some of the reusable ones were nasty.
Mine are pretty gross. I kind of don't want to see them anymore. Yeah, they also kind of remind me of like a bizarre time. So
yeah, not a good time. So I still have my vaccine card in case anybody asks
just
for
in
it.
Case.
But no, the move is good. We're like pretty well settled. We're about done with the old apartment. So
that's such a good feeling.
Good.
Was this the first time that you guys had hired movers?
We hired movers when we moved to Chicago, but we only hired them to unload our U-Haul. I hired Darcy's brothers to help us load our U-Haul in Madison, which was
that's
we
nice.
paid them in pizza and stuff. So
love,
which was very nice and helpful. But it felt good to not have like my parents' help.
Yeah,
because that was years.
I don't think I can ask them anymore.
I think it's done. I think especially as the youngest of 4 children now, I'm like, I don't think my parents can really help me move ever again unless it's like an emergency situation or something. So
I'm the only, but also my parents are kind of old, and I mean, I was telling you, my mom constantly gets back problems, so I'm kind of like, it's not worth it. We'll just let you rest.
my mom texted. I was making sure the family was aware of what was going on down here, because sometimes they don't always. I'm not calling everybody every day. I'm like, hey, here's what's going on. And then my mom texted me a week or 2 ago and was like, if you need help, I can't really help move anything, but I could help clean or something. Like, I think we're okay, but now I'm kind of thinking I should have had her help me clean a little bit.
Cleaning the apartment is honestly like the worst part.
Not to spoil, but it's kind of my ugly of the week.
Okay, totally. That makes a lot of sense.
I feel like a vagabond re-entering the home I vacated. Like, and it's empty now, and
it's kind of like, this is no longer my problem.
No, and I'm also like, how is there so much crap in this place still? Like, I have to scrub the shower?
I know.
It's disgusting.
I will say, though, I'll send you the link. Are you on TikTok?
No, I've actually never downloaded the app. Well,
okay, well,
I
good
do.
for you.
I have an
Brag.
account for testing at my job sometimes,
Okay.
but I've never downloaded the app.
Sure.
Yes, that's a brag. I survived COVID without going on TikTok. I found other vices, Sam.
Totally. Okay.
Like working 60 plus hours a week.
Well, that's kind of a cool thing to do.
Yeah, it makes your hair fall out.
I just have brain rot instead.
Aww.
That's kind of what I opted for. But there are these insane shower scrubbers, and I feel like it is the first thing I might have to buy off TikTok Shop. And they literally look so crazy. It's like this long kind of like, and it's like yes.
It's like
yes, and it looks so satisfying. Like I actually think that I might enjoy cleaning my bathroom if I had one of those.
Whoa. I feel like I've seen something like them on like my Twitter. My Twitter ads are mostly like, I think Temu. How do you pronounce? I don't know. I think that's what they all are. It's like the scrubber. There is.
They sell everything.
I get a lot of sex toy ads.
Totally.
On my
in the line of business.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also get this kind of like a colander for like dumping. You dump food out in the thing and it like shoots all the water into the sink. So it's kind of like a strainer, but it's different.
Okay, totally. Sounds really similar.
Or the thing that you put behind the sink. And it's for all the water that you could put your little brush and stuff there, and so that it doesn't like get on the edge of the sink, I guess. And every time I see it, I'm like, oh, what's this? Who am I following? I'm like, oh, ad. So
totally.
That's fun.
Sponsored.
Yes.
Sponsored content. Yeah, I don't know what it is. My TikTok, for some reason right now, is feeding me a lot of cleaning supplies and a lot of like
spring cleaning.
A lot of men with these crazy little weeders that are just plucking these fucking weeds out of the ground. And I'm kind of like, that actually does look pretty satisfying.
So it's kind of like ASMR almost.
Yeah.
Because it
like
seems weird,
oddly satisfying content.
Yeah, because it is weird. Like, why do they think you need to be? Not to assume you never pluck weeds, but no, I don't think you ever have to pluck a weed.
No, I'm sort of in a rental, so it's not my problem if there are weeds. I did actually. That's funny you say that because last summer our backyard actually got really overgrown a couple times, and I like picked a couple weeds, and I was like, wait a second. This is not my backyard. And then I texted my landlord and I was like, you guys should probably do something about this. And I had to do it in a way of like, I don't care, but like, it's, your property. I don't want it to.
It would be pretty nice.
Yeah.
Did you send them a picture and be like, I got to start. You guys, you can finish.
Sending them some photos for sure. Yeah. And I think I did show them like my little pile of weeds. I was like, we did a sweep. I like pulled like 3 weeds.
So you were not like the man who like on Instagram goes around and like fixes up abandoned homes and like does all of the landscaping. Those are very satisfying to me to watch. Like,
and they're at like a fast pace.
Yeah, sound off, and I'm like laying in bed, and I'm like, ooh.
I can't wait till the end to see the results.
It like is my OCD.
Yeah.
Like really gets going. That's what's been happening whenever I go to this old apartment. I'm like, I'm just gonna like pick up some things, or I'm gonna like clean out the fridge.
Then you're there.
Yes, and I'm like, oh well, I got to do that thing, and I might as well do this thing, and then I had to remove the bidet from the toilet. And
you guys brought it to your next place?
No, I just threw it out because it was nasty. But it was an ordeal. Me in this like sweaty bathroom,
I feel like you
tiny bathroom. I should have, but it was disgusting underneath. Was the problem?
Oh.
And I couldn't get one of the screws off, so I couldn't get the toilet seat out. So I had to like take apart the toilet seat. I had to take the little clasp thing off of the toilet seat. I had to take out like 4 screws.
You're practically a plumber.
Yeah, basic. That's what I felt like. I was like turning off the water. You had to empty the freaking tank.
Yeah.
And I had to take a sponge and just like get all the water out because otherwise it could have just fell out on the ground. Then I would have had to clean that up, which I guess I was going to mop and everything anyway. Hindsight 2020.
Totally.
I could have done that. But either way, I took apart the entire toilet seat, which felt insane to do. But
that's one of those ones where I would have been like, this is no longer my issue.
I'm thinking we're just going to leave the plunger and like the brush there. And I'm just like, it's dusty as hell. So I'm just going to like rinse it off and be like, here's a free plunger.
Yeah.
Like, what are the things I could leave here and be like, oh, that's so nice that they left it there. Like a roll of toilet paper or something. I'm like, I just don't want to like.
That actually is really nice because sometimes when you move, that's like number one thing that you forget or don't have with you.
Should I like leave some dirty dishes in the dishwasher?
Yeah, 100%. But like one of each, so in case they want a meal on their first night.
Aw, that's so nice. I did when we moved. I think I packed like, I left behind, as we were packing, I packed like all the forks, all the spoons, all the knives. I'm like, I'll leave 2 out. Like one for me, one for Darcy for the next day or two.
I know, it is really funny when you get to those final days and you're like, okay, what do we need to survive? Like, what things do we need?
Survival instincts really kick in. Like, this is survival of the fittest. Like, how long can we survive, even though all of our stuff is just in boxes 100%. Or half a mile away? So
I remember when we moved into our last place, like, I think that was the last time that my parents kind of helped with the move. And I just remember all of us kind of like sitting around eating a pizza because we needed it to be finger food. And we were like eating on a box as a table, like totally the classic. Yeah.
Like a sitcom.
100%.
Aw.
We used movers when we moved here, but I didn't realize that if you use movers, they moved us out of our old place, drove the whole thing, crossed state lines. Oh my God, so fucking expensive. It was literally so much money. But then I thought that was just normal. And then when I heard that if you move like either within state lines or you do kind of the smart way where you just have them like unpack, you know, they're only like one end of the trip, it's so much cheaper.
We got really kind of lucky on this last move. They got there a little early. And they got like started. And
ideal.
Luckily, it helped that we had already done like a handful of loads so that they just didn't have to move boxes. Because it was more of just like, we need you to move like the furniture. Cause that's a 2-person. Me and Darcy like trying to carry a couch down 3 flights of stairs. Yes, we are. It will not last. Like, we won't make it to the start date of the lease.
No, 100%. Yeah.
So luckily we did that, and then they got done faster. And then we're like kind of standing around and I'm about to like sign and pay. And he's like, if you got a little something for us, like maybe I can like mess with this bill a little bit. Not to dox this man. He was very good at his job. And I was like, oh, I got you covered. And he's like, oh, cool. And he changed around and charge the card and go give him this. Shake his hand, slap the cash in there. There you go, man. I appreciate the hard work. Because they did do an amazing job, and I really appreciate it. And I was also telling them, like, this TV box was like in our basement, and it got a little moldy, or it's like kind of fragile because, of course, our basement flooded and destroyed all of our boxes.
Naturally.
But the TV box, I was like, I'm not throwing that one out. I need it to move like one more time. And I was like, this one's a little fragile. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. And then I like saw them start moving, and they're just like wrapping stuff in so much plastic wrap and all this tape. They went through like 8 rolls of tape.
I know.
I was like, oh, cool. So I didn't need to say anything. Like, you guys got it.
Yeah.
You're professionals. They're
the
professionals.
The speed at which they work is actually also insane. Like, they cleared our apartment out fast. Like, that would have taken James and I probably like a full 8-hour shift.
No overtime. No breaks.
Literally.
OSHA would be at your throats.
Straight up. And like, it was actually so impressive. They were out of there. We like left a little bit after them, and they were like, well, we don't want to beat you to your house. We're going to like, you know, grab lunch at the Oasis, which is just like so funny to think about these 3 kind of like, it was like 1 older guy and 2 like, you know, kind of young fit guys. And, odd little group probably having lunch, and then, you know, grabbing an Annie Ann's pretzel, whatever it is. And then they like got to our house, and this was also, obviously we don't have an elevator or anything, and our last place did. So when they were loading up the truck, elevator was at their service. When they had this, they were just like hauling shit up these fucking stairs. And I was like, yeah, thank God I did not try to assist with this at all whatsoever. Also, they smelled so bad by the end. I was really like, please get out of my house.
I just moved in and it smells so bad.
So bad.
And my candles are at the bottom of one of these totes.
Literally. Well, never to be seen again. But yeah, it was like they were very sweet. They were very good at their job. I do not envy that line of work whatsoever.
Yeah. I will admit, I was scared like driving the U-Haul down from Madison when we moved here. That's freaky.
James drove a U-Haul once when we were just moving like within Madison, so it really wasn't anything crazy. But I was like, you have absolutely no business being on the wheel of a truck this fucking big. Literally.
Sorry, no offense, James.
So fucking funny. But yeah, I mean, I can barely drive his car, so there's no way I would touch the stuff. But
it's an experience. It's really. It brings out the worst in people, I think.
Packing,
moving. The night before, like the movers were coming, I was like up late trying to like pack up everything.
Yeah,
and it was like
that's classic.
It was almost midnight. Darcy texted me like, "Dude, come to bed."
I know.
I'm like,
I'm pretty sure when James and I were moving, we stayed up until like I don't even know, like 4 a.m. It was something so stupid. And then they were coming at like 8, so like we got like a quick couple hours of sleep, and then it was back at it. So dumb. But you can never get it done on time.
No,
doesn't matter when you start.
That's like why it's nice to have. We had a little bit of overlap, so it's given us this time to like, we got all our stuff moved, and then we can slowly make sure that gets done, and it will. So
yeah. Well, I'm excited to see it, especially with this new lighting situation I'm hearing about.
It's lovely. It will make it whatever color you request.
That's awesome.
Even, the other day I was kind of like, wait, does it do black? And then I was like, wait, no.
That's actually just the lights are off.
Stupid. Come on.
Or you have like the actual black light. That'd be sick.
Whoa.
And then we all wear white shirts.
Yes.
That'd be so crazy.
Splash and stuff. It's like a Blue Man Group show.
I've never been.
I've never been either.
Maybe we should do that.
I see ads for them all the time.
James
around here
wants to go. Don't they just like bang on drums?
I think so, but they're like paint. There's paint on them.
Yeah. I don't really get it, but I'm down to explore it.
It definitely feels like one of those things that is before our time. Like we've got cooler things now.
Oh, so true. That's always one of those ones too where I'm like, is it the same guys? There's no way.
I think it's probably like
they're rotating.
It's a brotherhood.
Bald men. Yeah.
I'm sure there must be
a lot of people cycling through
women, any gender.
So true.
I'm surprised they haven't kind of gotten some shit for that.
Yeah,
the blue person group,
the blue people group.
Yes.
Yeah. Then it turns into like Avatar themed.
It's a little more, maybe more Cirque du Soleil getting there. Like
so true.
The Pandora Cirque du Soleil Way of Water.
That kind of reminds me of like the same era as like the Harlem Globetrotters. That's another one where I'm kind of like, so crazy that you guys were doing that. Do they still do that?
They do, and they perform at places. It's kind of like a monster truck show. Basically, if they performed at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison, Wisconsin,
my God, that's
like
so
the
true.
circus would come through. It's kind of the weird like side shows that are like, it's like the modern P.T. Barnum style.
Yep.
Which I think is just like professional sports now. Like we go to like a basketball game, it's like we're watching these freaks play this crazy sport. Like Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah, Giannis Antetokounmpo would have been in like a cage in like the 20s and been like traveling around in a the back of a train car, but like locked, trapped.
True.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah. He is a giant.
He's like 7 feet. The Greek freak.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's such a good measure of kind of like the level of show you're seeing, as if they've hit the Alliant.
Yes, that's. I've never been to the Alliant Energy Center. Never in my life.
How did you avoid it?
I never went to it. It wasn't something like we ever did. I think it's weird that like Darcy's graduation was at the Alliant Energy Center, or like that's where they took AP tests or something.
I definitely took some of my exams there.
Whoa.
I think I had a prom there. And then I feel like I graduated at the Kohl Center. Okay. I feel like there were other. I feel like I consistently was going to the Alliant
Madison privilege. Belleville, we had a gymnasium. That's where we did graduation, prom, homecoming. We did AP testing at a church in Belleville.
At a church. They're like, sure, you can borrow it.
The United Church of Christ, the UCC Church in Belleville. Downtown Belleville.
Sounds honestly maybe perhaps a little more relaxing.
It was cozy. It was nice. That's where we had our 4-H club meetings.
So you never went to like Bratfest?
I guess I've been on the grounds.
Okay.
Don't think I've ever entered the premises.
Okay.
Did you ever go to the Beer and Cheese Fest in Madison?
Isn't that at Breeze, Stevens?
No. Oh, there is stuff there.
There's much stuff there.
What's the other building? There's the Alliant Energy Center, and then there's like the Coliseum. What's the thing next door?
Well, is
that whole thing?
I think it's all the same.
Oh, okay. Maybe I have been lying.
You're like,
I've been there for the Beer and Cheese Fest, maybe, but that's it.
Okay. I feel like I was there a lot. I actually did see a monster truck show there once.
Whoa.
I also, James and I went to a roller derby.
That would be fun.
Which was really fun.
My brother used to work with someone who was like the mascot for the Madison roller derby team, I think.
Oh, crazy.
This is when my brother worked at the Westtown Mall. Town with an E.
So true.
The Westtown Mall, Auntie Anne's Pretzels.
Okay, actually, slay job.
He might have served you. He may have served you.
Sort of was there a lot.
The finest pretzels.
Really. James and I were just at we saw Dune.
Dune Part 2?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And we got a pretzel at the movie theater. It was actually so crazy. So we got the IMAX tickets. And so already that's like $50 for 2 tickets. And then we got like a pretzel. We hadn't eaten dinner. So we got like a popcorn, a pretzel.
A delicious dinner.
2 Gatorades and some candy.
Healthy.
I think in total we spent $100 at the movies. I was like, if that's what it costs to go to the movie theater these days, like I might as well just watch this movie at home.
That's more expensive than the monster truck show.
100%. I think that was like literally $15 max.
They need people.
Yeah.
They need warm bodies.
Yeah, literally.
Whereas the movie theater is like, well, I mean, I guess the movie theater does want warm bodies, but
yeah.
Did you enjoy Dune 2?
I actually really liked it. I didn't know there was more. I haven't read the books. So I was kind of like, okay, fine, another cliffhanger. I see how you guys are doing it.
I'm in the process of reading the books. I just finished the second book.
You watched the movie first?
I read the first book. I've read the first book 3 times now.
Okay.
Actually, I read it like 4 or 5 years ago because my brother was very into the books, like in high school, I think. And I'm thinking these would not have made sense to me in high school.
Totally.
But I read the first book.
The movie barely made sense to me now.
It's confusing.
You have to pay really close attention.
I reread it before the first one came out, and then when the second one, I bought tickets to it, and I was like, "Oh, I should reread the book again." But I only got like halfway through it, and then I finished reading it, and I finally read the second one, and now I'm gonna try to make it through like the first 6 books. We'll see though.
There are 6?
There's more than that. The first 6 are the ones that like Frank Herbert wrote, and then his like son picks it up and is writing some other stuff.
Oh shit!
So we'll
are the
see.
movies following one book at a time?
The Dune and Dune Part 2 are all on the first book.
Oh my god! So we are just in it for the long haul.
I think if they make another one, they'll only make like one more, and it would be the second book, which is shorter and a bit more manageable, and that kind of finishes the Paul Atreides storyline, if you will.
So, okay.
Not to spoil or anything.
Timothy Chalamet will just die after that or something, and then
perhaps,
we'll be on to the
something
next.
like that. Yeah, and so I would be surprised if they went farther than that, but you never know.
So true. I mean, it's one of those things where if it's making money, I'm sure they'll just run it into the fucking ground. But
might as well.
We'll see.
What else is there to do?
I will say, I don't know if I'm getting old or if movie theaters are becoming a crazy, crazy place, but I had to literally be half the movie with my fingers in my ears.
It is a loud movie.
It was fucking loud as
loud movie.
It was the loudest. I was like, this is so bad for you. Like, this is actually crazy.
It's like worse than you should have worn your earplugs like at a concert.
100%. Yeah.
How full was your theater?
It was actually still pretty full.
Okay.
But we saw it on like a Sunday night, which I feel like is a good time to see, and it was rainy. So I feel like it was busy, but because I looked at the IMAX tickets, and then there was another showing in just like the regular theater. The regular theater had 2 people, so I was like, well, I'm gonna let them enjoy that.
They'll have a good time, yes.
And then the IMAX, like, we didn't really get the best seats. We were kind of like off to the side, but it was fine.
That's fun. We went opening night. I bought tickets as soon as I got the email that they were on sale. I was like, I don't have time to see if anybody wants to go to this with me. I'm just buying 2 tickets and we'll figure it out. But we had a very good crowd, and people were like there for it. And there were a couple of like cheers right at the beginning, and then people shushed and were like focused.
We had a couple talkers in the sense of like kind of like out loud reactions. Like they weren't like having conversations not about the movie, but I was kind of like, we aren't really watching this in a group setting, so if you could just shut the fuck up, that'd be awesome.
That is one of my pet peeves. I'm like, why are you here? If you're gonna when we saw the first Dune in IMAX at Regal North, not to dox our location.
That's where we saw it.
I think it's a shitty movie theater.
Yeah.
But it's good. Every time I go there, something else is broken.
They have really bad pretzels, I'll say that.
Ooh.
Bad.
Was the
Don't
popcorn
get
good?
The pretzels. The popcorn's good.
Okay, that's good.
Movie theater popcorn, you can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
Just like douse it in butter.
I never buy things at the movie theater.
What?
I'll like sneak in a drink and maybe some candy.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I'm not gonna buy anything here.
Because it's literally $1,000.
Yeah. Maybe I'm cheap. Maybe that's where my like cheap rural Wisconsin like cheapness comes out. I'm like, I can sneak this in, I guess. Like there are a few rules that I feel like I break, but that's like one. I'm like, I guess sometimes it feels good to be bad, you know. And it like there's like the very nice old man who's always like ripping the tickets there, and he's like, oh, thanks for being a Royal Plus member. Enjoy the show.
I don't think there's a place where they look less, you know. I feel like I used to sneak a lot of candy into the movie theater in like Madison, but for some reason we're not making the pit stop here.
Sorry, Greg Marcus.
Yeah, seriously. Pulling the wool over his eyes. I kind of miss his little commercials.
Oh, he loves playing that little piano.
I know he really does. Oh my god, that really brings me back.
I did go see a movie over the holidays at Marcus Theaters. Me and my dad saw The Iron Claw. We saw Greg Marcus.
Oh, we just watched that at home.
It's a good one.
It was really
intense.
sad.
Really sad.
Also, I looked up the family history afterwards because I didn't know anything about them.
It's sadder.
It's sadder.
They made the movie less sad.
Yeah, I was like, how could this get worse? Insane. So crazy. Yeah. Worth watching.
Yes.
I couldn't get over the haircuts though. I was like, this is just like a little.
This is what people look like.
Crazy.
it's kind of crazy.
Well, I will say too, everyone else in the movie sort of had like a more normal haircut, and then it was just the bros kind of rocking these like really bizarre bowl cuts.
Yeah, they're like bowl cuts, but they're not mullets.
Right.
But
like a little, yeah, and like so stiff.
Yeah.
Zac Efron's in particular was stiff as fuck.
Yeah, well, it kind of had to match his like his musculature.
Yes, that's true.
Which was like stiff and pulsing.
They were literally so big for that movie. It was so crazy to see them so bulked up. I was kind of like
absolutely jacked.
Like seeing Jeremy Allen White kind of like
stumbling back and forth, tossing a discus.
So crazy. But it was a good movie. There are so many movies now where I'm like, I feel like there's a lot that I need to see and catch up from award season, but I might be over the movie theaters. I don't know. Maybe I'm just pissed off because I spent $100, but
I love going to the movie theater because it really does force me. I'm like very religious about like I'm not going on my phone unless like I turn the watch is on theater mode, so it's not turning on.
That's
like,
an option?
Yes.
Wait,
so
that's
like,
awesome.
When you lift it up, it doesn't turn on. Even though when I was at the first Dune, there were people like checking their watches, and also that theater was so hot. Felt like Arrakis in there, but no, I love the theaters because it forces me. I think that's like why I like it sometimes. I'm like, I'm not going to go on my phone for like 2 hours.
That's so true.
That's so nice. Like, and I don't even, because it's like the societal pressure.
I know.
Like, I need that more often.
Yourself.
Like, why do I need Darcy to be like, if you go on your phone, like, it's done.
No, literally.
Like, you're dead to me. But
phone
she'll
hour.
never do that. Like, yeah, it's just like, we'll never do that.
Like, I kind of want to be on mine.
Exactly. Well, it's kind of the.
I know, it really is so tough. I can't even like watch TV without playing a game in the background. It's stupid. I love phone games.
They're
I wish
addicting.
I didn't, but they're so fun.
Yeah, I need to like keep them off. I downloaded Phase 10. Did you ever play that card game?
No.
It's like a card game where you have to build like sets of like runs of specific numbers or a collection of like specific colors and things. And I saw an ad for it when I was like watching something. It was like, download Phase 10 mobile app. I'm like, oh, I love that game. And whenever I've seen it, I'm like, nobody ever wants to play it with me. So I'm like,
so it's a real card game.
Yes, it is. Yes,
see,
we had it as like in our home growing up, and we played it.
Like
so.
Uno vibes.
Similar.
Okay.
Yes, and it's like you have to. There are like 10 phases, and each one is like, collect 3 sets of reds or 3 sets of 2 colors or something like that, and you have to do that, and then it goes in like rounds, kind of. So
okay.
It's probably stupid, but I like it.
I kind of like stupid games where you don't have to think too hard.
It's pretty simple to like wrap your head around, and then it's just kind of like
that's always nice. I know. I love games. I want to play more board games. We should do a board game night soon.
Board games, I love them. It is. I mean, everybody says it. You gotta learn. That's the hard part.
I know. That's why I like something like Phase 10.
Exactly. Ugh, I can't believe we love Phase 10 so much. Wait, Phase 10 sweeping the nation? Oh
yeah, literally. It becomes famous after this podcast. We're putting Phase 10 back on the map.
Google Analytics for Phase 10 shoots through the roof.
Well, should we get into your good, bad, ugly?
Let's do it. I'm going to go on my phone now. It's purely for reference. The
Don't
people
worry,
at home.
Save space.
Okay. Here's a question I have for you, though.
Okay, love.
What is the difference between bad and ugly?
So I think that's open to interpretation.
Okay. I was thinking about this question. I thought that's exactly what you might say.
I think it's one of those things where, like, for me, they can be interchangeable. But the way I've been kind of approaching ugly, honestly, for the most part so far, has been like, kind of like being a sore loser. That's ugly. It's not necessarily bad. It's ugly. Okay. I think it's an ugly personality trait. I am a sore loser. So it's something I'm working on.
I'm in soccer. We have a little rec soccer, and I'm like such a little bitch. Such a little a little fucker sometimes when like there was last year we were in like it was like the playoffs, and I'm like we were down 1 or it was tied and there's not that much time left, and I'm like yelling at this guy on the other team like, why don't you get the ball out of bounds? He's like, chill out, dude. I don't take the corner kicks. I'm like, shut up. You suck. So I am such a sassy, like, you could ask James, me at like volleyball, people like being annoying. I will be so like petty and annoying back to people who are being just, there was this guy who was just like yelling the entire time, like while we're starting to serve. I'm like, could you shut up? You're not saying
I feel like I've seen
anything.
that come out of you a little bit.
Oh, it's very difficult for me not to do. I'm like competitive and also kind of a sore loser and I really want to win. And
see, I think for me, I'm not a competitive person, but I'm still a sore loser. And so it shows itself in other ways where like, I'm not going to scream at you by any means, but I'll probably give you the cold shoulder or potentially stop speaking to you entirely. And I'm holding a grudge, you know?
I mean, yes, I do think of these people. Yeah. Unfortunately, like, they stick in my craw, which is probably something I should deal with myself and learn how to get over. But
how boring is that? We all have our quirks.
Exactly. That's what makes me. And then Darcy usually just has to deal with it, and she doesn't like that. So, okay, I mentioned it in the ugly, but I do think fixing up the previous apartment is like the ugliest thing. Like, I feel like a vagabond going back into this place, like I'm not supposed to be here. Like, me sweeping up this dust. Each room had a pile of dust the size of, like, not this pillow, not quite that large, but like it would have fit each pile of dust would have fit into this like jar that like a bit like a big bowl.
Totally.
Like if you were making pancakes, it would have fit in there. It was disgusting.
I know the exact type of bowl you're talking about.
Cleaning the fan. Why is there a fan in the kitchen where the oil and grease has caked onto this thing?
Fucking disgusting.
And I'm on my little ladder and I'm like masked up.
Totally.
And I'm trying to get this stuff off and it's so nasty. And I'm like grabbing this fan with both hands while I'm like teetering back and forth.
Risking your life.
I've got my sneakers on and they're covered in dust too. Yeah. So I'm like slipping on these steps too. Oh, it's just the worst. And
it's one of those things where it's like, okay, this is a mess that I made so long ago. I don't want to deal with it anymore.
It has accumulated 3 years of my life. I'm sweeping up the memories, the laughs, this dust has seen. Oh, I would laugh and the dust would fly. And
right, it's so sad. It's so sad.
And then there's the dust. I roll out of bed and then there's dust on.
It is crazy too, because 3 years, while that's, I've never lived anywhere 3 years. I think most people have lived a lot, somewhere for much longer. And it's like, if that is what happens after 3 years, what is hiding in my parents' house?
And I do think, excuse me, this apartment was like abnormally dusty. Like I have never seen a place get this dusty. Like I live in my home where I grew up maybe my mom was probably dusting all the time, but I don't think it accumulated that much dust in like a farmhouse. And I was just on the 3rd floor of this frankly kind of tiny apartment.
Right.
And there's dust. And my dog doesn't shed.
Yeah, that's so true.
Oh man, if that.
I will say the cats definitely. It was actually so funny today. We have like one of those little handheld vacuums, and I was like, well, I'm too lazy to get the real vacuum out because I vacuumed like 3 days ago, so I'm just gonna do this. And I'm like running around the whole house trying to get all the nooks and crannies. And then everywhere I would go, I would turn around and Misha would be sitting there and be like, more hair. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, you guys. It's so crazy. Living with cats is actually insane. I don't wish it upon my worst enemies.
Ugh, I could not. Like, we had outside cats, farm cats, feral farm cats. So.
Well, and the litter just kind of leads to dust.
Don't they make special litter that doesn't do that? It probably costs like an arm and a leg.
For sure.
Bidenomics.
Literally.
Can't afford litter.
Not my president.
Why is it called kitty litter?
I actually have no idea.
Litter. Like, I guess you have a litter of kittens. You litter outside.
Right. So combine the two and that's what you shit in.
Wow. Crazy. Congrats. Enjoy.
So cool. Such little innovators.
But yes, expanding upon the ugliness of cleaning an apartment, getting stuff off the wall. I signed a lease and it said I would not do all these things, but I'm gonna hang stuff up on the walls.
Because what is this, a prison?
What the heck? I'm not gonna hang anything on the walls. You want me to live here or what?
And we all know command strips don't actually fucking work.
You buy the cute little things, like these little squirrel things that you put your little keys on, so then when you pull it down, the squirrel like pops up, and it's so cute. And it's great for the 3 years you're using it. And then you're standing at the wall, you get the X-Acto knife out. Oh, can I get this off with the knife? And as I'm like cutting a square in the paint, the wall paint, and I'm like, screw this. And I get out this flathead screwdriver and I'm trying to like leverage it against the wall to pop it off. And then I end up just like grabbing it and like King Kong ripping it off, trying to rip it off.
Of course.
And it like breaks into 5 different plastic pieces, and then it also takes just a chunk of the paint and drywall off. I'm
100%.
like, what am I supposed to do here?
Yeah.
Do I buy a caulk gun?
I know.
I bought like the tiniest little thing of like caulk with like, so that I could fill like the nail holes, thinking like, oh, that'll be great. But no, now there's just like 5 squares of like 2-inch by 2-inch paint just like ripped off the walls. And I'm like, what do I need to do here?
I know.
I'm looking for advice.
I
honestly,
think you just have to kiss your security deposit goodbye.
I looked in the basement for paint that would match our walls.
Yeah.
There isn't any. There's a green, which I thought might, paint dries a different color than what it looked like.
Did you try it?
I bought a tiny paintbrush and I started putting a little bit, and I did half a stroke, and I was like, oh, this is not the right color.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
So funny.
See, that's what you need the special lamps for, so you can cover up the weird colors on the wall.
So true. The next person just has to grow a pair and hang something over the holes.
That's what I think. And I'm like, if you hire someone to clean, like, they're going to fix it, right?
Yeah. I actually think yes.
Right.
I also think, I guess I don't know the way it works. And did you pay a security? Did I pay a security?
We paid a move-in fee.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's all.
I think that was it. And I'm like,
so that's why it's kind of like,
I paid that.
Yeah.
I paid this years ago.
Literally.
I paid so I could fuck up the walls a little bit.
And I think that it was worth it. And I think that you should kind of just kiss the apartment goodbye. I actually think that you don't even owe them probably as much cleaning as you're doing.
I think I kind of agree. That's kind of why I was scrubbing the shower, and I was like,
right.
I sprayed it with hot water, scrubbed it down a little bit, a little spritz of some bathroom cleaner. I think it's pretty good.
Because you're just cleaning for the people who are probably going to come and clean next.
That's what I think.
You're not cleaning for the next tenant.
Yeah. You're welcome.
If you are, that's a problem that they can take up with their landlord.
Exactly. You're welcome, Sam, who's also a fellow Badger, which he didn't tell us until after we signed our lease. I'm like, you could have told us.
Wait, that's crazy.
Yeah, what the heck?
That's your landlord? Old landlord.
Current landlord for a day and a half.
Okay, right.
Another day and a half or so.
Oh my God.
That's
and to just kind of, to break up with your landlord is probably so crazy.
Do I delete his number?
Wait, you guys. That's interesting.
Even though a few months ago, I got kicked off of my whisk.edu email, which was really threw my life for a loop. I had to
I probably have been too then.
I do think I'm like the privilege of working for housing and for the university. I think let my whisk.edu email last longer than most people's, but it is a problem.
Because you could like buy it.
Oh.
I know there was an option that you could like buy it after you were done with school.
What? Nobody told me this.
I think there was like a sort of like a bundle option where you could get your like union membership and buy your email
and like
address.
Alumni Association, which I never actually did. I probably should have done that.
I never did it either.
See, the problem is they ask for that. They give it to you cheaper right away, and it's like, well, I don't really have much money right now, but I will.
Yeah, I'm actually
soon,
broke,
maybe.
Completely broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm kind of working on getting a job because of how you guys were supposed to set me up for that. Yeah, so crazy. I actually love thinking about if you should delete your landlord's phone number, because this is the first place I've lived now that it's like just people, not a management company.
Yeah, which is much nicer.
Yeah.
So much nicer.
Oh my God, 100%. And I feel like because of that, you probably delete the number, or maybe you stay friends. I guess it depends on your relationship.
I mean, yeah, we never really texted ever.
Totally.
But
well, now you can start. Yeah.
Hey, hey, buddy. Hey, Sam. What's going on?
I'm not paying your bills anymore. Maybe we can grab a beer.
Yeah. Now that I'm not your employee, I guess.
Literally. So crazy. Well, that is a good ugly. I do think that it's sort of just like it's like a heinous act that you have to sort of commit after you move out of.
It is a necessary evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Crazy.
The worst. But the end is in sight.
So true. And I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, which one would you like to do next?
Oh, man. So
you're going all out of order.
Here we go. I'm changing.
Keep me on my toes.
I said it's a very special episode. We're here to really get in.
I love it.
It's a big one.
I'm along for the ride.
Nielsen is all over this one. We're getting record numbers.
Making waves.
Let's see. Okay. So my good is one big thing. My bad is kind of a collection of beefs.
Okay.
Which would you prefer right now?
Let's do I think we have to get the good out of the way.
Let's do the good. It is pessimistic at best. I was thinking about that. That's why there's kind of two
bad ones.
Two on the bad ones. I think of myself as an optimistic person, so I bring a different flavor to the pod. You know,
totally.
I'm sure I'm the only one the only one on here who's kind of an optimist.
I will say, for being, I do agree that you are an optimistic person, but I also think you're pretty good at complaining.
Oh, one of the best.
Yeah. So you contain multitudes.
I will absolutely complain. I will complain someone's ear off. Okay, let's go with the good. My good is like when you have an artist that you've gotten into, never seen them in concert, but like at some point recently they became like, you realized they are at the top of my list. I must see them.
100%.
And I am kind of obsessed with them. They are the person I am listening to right now. When I don't, like over the last year and a half for me, that's been this person, like year and a half. I'm like, what do I want to listen to? I'm just going to listen to this. Like they're just always at the top of my Spotify.
Totally.
Your Spotify Wrapped is mostly them. For me, this was Rustin Kelly.
Okay.
Former lover and husband of Casey Musgraves, for those in the know.
Incredibly cool.
But I saw him this past Monday at Talia Hall. It was like a small acoustic show. My wonderful life partner Darcy bought VIP meet and greet tickets. So we get
glamorous.
We got there at 5:15 p.m. And then got to stand in line for 45 minutes along with 8 other people.
And like it's so worth it.
Very worth it. And they already have the first 5 rows reserved for the priority seating anyway. And
totally.
I didn't have to push anyone out of the way.
You're like, I'm so glad I paid extra to stand in line. Yeah.
So that was great. But the show was incredible. He was incredibly charming. And there's like the moment when and it was during the like, he played a few songs just for the VIP people.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
And then he did like a Q&A and was talking to people. And then it was the meet and greet afterwards. And he got photos with them, which was very cool. And he was very chatty, which was very fun. But I literally, when he was playing a song during the small acoustic part of the small VIP show, and I was like, I've heard this song so many times in my AirPods. And I was like, tears falling down my face. I was like, this is so wonderful.
I feel like I've definitely been there. There are artists for me. I mean, it really depends on the level, because I cried when I saw Beyonce, but that's just kind of because it was Beyonce. And that was a few years ago now. And we were really far away. I think I saw her at the United Center. I don't really like going to those big shows, but for Beyonce, I was like, I'll do it.
This was not the Renaissance tour then. This was something previous?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure I thought that I was going on the Beyonce tour. And then literally the night before the tour started, she released Lemonade. Ooh. Or one of those. But we ended up kind of seeing like a brand new Secret Show. And it was like an album that, I mean, we only had a few hours to listen to it before the concert had started. And it was so crazy. But she was like pretty far away because it was the United Center. But then she like, flew through the air over to this other stage, and I could just see her so crystal clear that I started sobbing, uncontrollably sobbing. But I think that's like one of the main concerts I've actually cried at. But I feel you on like when it is also maybe like a little bit of a smaller artist or something, and you can see them in a more intimate setting, especially if they're cool. Like if you just meet them and have a little chat, that's awesome.
And I don't know, people always say, don't meet your heroes. And not that that's what this was. I was more like, I don't know what to say to him. Like, it's not like we're going to chat for a while. Like, we meet and it's like, hey, like, I don't know.
Click, and then you're out.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just like so excited. Like, I had one small little anecdote, and then Darcy and I got a picture with him. And then Darcy was like, you two got to get a picture. And I was like, yeah, I kind of listen to your music like a little more than she does. And he was like, oh, I get it. Like, and he was very friendly, which was so fun. But it's just like
awesome.
It's like crazy to like be like when you have someone, it's like, I just have never seen this person, or like, I think I got into him right after he had like just been on a tour kind of thing. It's just like
totally
stars did not quite align, and then I saw him on the night of the eclipse. So
that's dope.
The sun and moon aligned, I guess, if you will. So
I feel like a similar. Have you ever listened to Grace Ives?
Yes, a little bit. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, and she was at Pitchfork last year.
Yes, I think so. I saw her there.
She was definitely one of those people for me where I was like also in like the top percentage. She's always on my Spotify Wrapped like every year, and she's so good. And I can't remember if this was the first show that I saw her, but we went and saw her at Shuba, so really small.
Very tiny, yeah.
And then she was just like at the merch booth afterwards. And I was like, can I hug you? And she was like, of course. And it's just like so funny when like they're just people, it's so crazy.
It is nice to like get that that feeling.
100%.
It's crazy. Yeah, the concert that I would have described this as, like this, finally seeing like the people you wanted to see for forever. Before this was the Killers. And I saw them at the Fiserv Forum. It was the very first show that ever happened at the Fiserv Forum, which is the new-ish now Milwaukee Bucks basketball stadium in Milwaukee.
They did concerts there, but I guess that makes total sense.
Yeah, we didn't. We saw Lord at the BMO, Harris Bradley Center.
Oh, classic.
R.I.P. And Lord was like, I love Milwaukee. And it was the first night of the tour, and Darcy and I were like, no, she doesn't.
Yeah, right.
So, like, you don't know where Milwaukee is on a map.
You probably barely stepped off the tour bus.
Yeah. So, the Killers were the one before that, just because when I've been listening to them since, like, I don't know, 5th grade or something.
Totally.
And I was very into them. But, so, seeing Rustin Kelly, that was huge.
I love that.
As a music listener yourself, I assume, are you a lyrics person? Are you just a vibes person? Are you, like, what do you connect to?
That's definitely a good question. I actually feel like James and I talk about this a lot because I feel like I'm vibes. Like, I don't necessarily know all of the words, but I love the song.
That is kind of exactly how I feel. I am absolutely singing. I know what they're saying, but then and that's the other thing. Sometimes you see them live and you're like, that's what they've been singing about?
100%. Sometimes I'm kind of like, okay, well, I was really taking some artistic liberties with this.
You're an artist yourself, you're playing with it. That's,
right. Oh. Yeah, it's sort of my rendition. But I also James is always like baffled by the way that I listen to music, because I'll be like, oh, I love this song. And he'll be like, who is it? And I'm like, yeah, I have no fucking idea. Like, I always have to check my Spotify. And he's like, how do you even you don't know the names of songs. You don't know who sings them. You don't really know the lyrics. And I'm like, no, but it's my favorite song.
I just love the vibes that this one has. So.
Well, and I listen to, are you on Spotify?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
I listen to like artist radios or my daily mix. That's usually my go-to. And so like for me, I'm not necessarily seeking these folks out, but then I'll hear them a ton because the Spotify algorithm's only so good. They do repeat quite a bit.
Yep.
And so I'll get used to these songs that I've like not actually, I don't even know what the cover of the album looks like. Like, it's crazy.
It's like, no, this is Daily Mix 1. This is my favorite track, Daily Mix 1.
Literally. So, but yeah, and James is like very much, he'll listen through a whole album and he's like seeking out specific artists. So
I feel like when there are specific people I really want to listen to, I will go to their albums and listen to their stuff, especially when I'm really into them.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I've been doing with a lot lately. And then I'll go through a stretch where I'm like, okay, let's mix it up a little bit. Same. And I'll hit some daily mixes, but then I'm like, I don't know any of this stuff. So then I go back. I'm like, I guess I'll listen to the stuff I know. I'm like really into this stuff right now. Have you ever used the Spotify DJ?
No.
It's this
They're coming out with all these new features now.
I think it's pretty good. There was actually some good stuff that it was giving me, and it's like, kind of this AI voice, and it's like, hey, Dylan, this is your DJ X. We're going to kick it. We're going to throw it back to 2021 with some Rustin Kelly.
Okay.
Here's something you were listening to back in summer 2022. Here's Lord.
Wait, that's crazy.
But it does, and it did a good job of like, it'll mix it up, and if you like skip, it'll be like, okay, you don't want to listen to like this kind of vibe. Sure. So I feel like it's like jumping between probably what they have in like the daily mixes or what's the new one people love posting about, like the vibe one where it's like, oh, a chill rainy Tuesday afternoon with coffee.
People are eating that shit up.
People love it. It's just a Mad Libs.
Right. So true.
But I get it. True. I mean, if the music's good. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of fun because it's like your own personal radio show. Because I feel like the one thing that the Daily Mix does not do is it's not going to ever show you like anything old. It won't show you like music that you were listening to a couple years ago. It's all pretty fresh stuff. So that's kind of nice. Yeah,
I feel like, and it's been getting a little bit better. I haven't listened to it for a little while, but it is funny when it's like, it was throwing it back to 2 years ago.
100%.
But it's gotten, it also is like, well, I only have good Spotify data for the last 5 or 6 years because the stuff I was listening to in high school is just like,
so true.
they can forget all that data. Like I should be able to tell them what data to delete.
Erase.
Like do not, I don't need this anymore.
I am a changed man. Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah. Well, I'm also kind of like I don't have the creativity to think about what I want to listen to. So I kind of just rely on my Spotify to understand and tell me and hope that it gets it right.
That is what you like the radio used to do. I mean,
so true.
Yes, we have so much choice now, but
yeah, decision fatigue is so real.
I can't make any decisions anyway. No, so
I'd prefer not to choose.
That's why I just listen to the same stuff sometimes. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is what I'm listening to.
I'm the same. It's like the only thing I can think of because I listened to it yesterday and the day before.
Yeah. It's like my recent searches. Oh, this sounds good.
Simple.
Hey, I was on the ball yesterday. Like I knew what was going on.
I knew exactly what I wanted to listen to today. Yeah. So crazy. Well, I think that's a great good. And honestly, there are a lot of good shows that come through here. I felt like when I first moved here, it was one of those things where Madison has a surprisingly good music scene. So at first I was kind of sad because it seemed like everyone I liked was like opening up for somebody bigger, and then I'm paying double the price. But now I feel like I'm starting to understand the vibe, and Talia Hall is easily one of my favorite venues.
Yeah. I think it's the perfect sweet spot between you're getting a bigger act than like Shuba's.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can find, if you're into some indie people, Shuba's is going to be like great. But Talia Hall gets some bigger people, but it's not also like at the size of Radius or Aragon Ballroom where it's like tickets going to be way more expensive.
100%.
You know, it's probably going to be crazy. Like Olivia Rodrigo was at like Aragon Ballroom whenever, like a couple years ago for the Sour Tour, I think. New One's Guts, I think. And that was, I heard, absolutely insane.
I also think specifically that venue, I feel like they love to oversell that bitch, like literally.
Yeah. Well, and that is kind of the gateway to like, well, can you do this one? Or could you do the United set? Like you got, that's like a big jump for an artist. I feel like
for sure.
So
I feel like you're at the Aragon Ballroom level for a while.
Yeah.
Just keep them coming back.
I aspire to be at the Aragon Ballroom level.
Okay,
perhaps.
love. I can't wait to see you
like
there.
the United Center it'd be pretty cool, but it's like,
oh my God, like
kinda
at that point,
played out,
you can't
like-
hang out with your fans.
ugh. I can't be at the merch table at United Center
Yeah, so true.
where they have 20 merch tables probably.
No, for
So-
sure. One on every floor. Crazy. Well, I love that. That's a great good.
Yeah. So that's very cool. It feels good. It's one of those, it's like,
Yeah.
feels good. Now you can
Don't
check-
meet your
I've seen them-
heroes unless they're cool.
Yes,
Unless they're really
exactly. And if
cool.
you get cool pictures with them
Yeah.
and kind of shake their hands a little bit and
Then
put your arm around them.
screw the rules.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's do the bad. I'm pretty excited.
Alrighty. My bad. A collection of beefs that I want to go over, and I'll take your
Love.
temperature and we can jump through these. Like, let me know if any of these really
Resonate.
resonate. So I know you don't drive, but one of my biggest beefs: cars not using their blinker.
Yeah.
It is the one. Frankly, screw your seatbelt. I don't care.
You're right.
Use your blinker.
Signal to other people what the hell you're doing.
How else am I supposed to know?
Yeah.
Use a god dang hand signal.
Right.
Left.
Yeah,
right.
literally.
I do them sometimes.
Do you actually?
Right into your cat. I've done them sometimes.
Hilarious.
I do them when I'm like on the 606 sometimes. I'm like getting off. I'm like, I'm going this way. Like, because sometimes bikers will
Yeah.
zoom by you on there and be crazy. But
That's very true.
use your blinker, people.
I have been driving more.
Whoa.
Yeah, specifically my laser hair removal. That's like the only place I drive, but I have to go there alone because James is like, I'm not going to drive you that fucking appointment. I took the bus there once and it was literally hell on earth. And I had to do like but I had to do a transfer for a ride that quite literally in the car. I think I'm there in 9 minutes. And my bus ride was like 40. So I was like, okay, I should probably just get behind the fucking wheel.
Yeah.
But I agree. It is a huge pain in the ass, especially when you are sharing the roads with somebody who's maybe not so comfy.
Yes.
Just let me know where you're going so that I can kind of adjust appropriately.
It's all I ask. It's
Yeah.
all I ask. It's really not that much.
No.
But I think death penalty. Okay, moving on.
Wait, I love.
People honking their horns in general.
Totally. I'm
Frankly,
sensing a theme.
so annoying. So annoying. But also, to get to it for the non-drivers out here, I understand the honking when you're coming out of an alley thing, but it's annoying. And two, honking your horn as you're coming out of the alley going like 30 miles an hour is
Right.
not an excuse for you not to slow down.
So true.
People are honking and zooming out, and I'm like,
Wait, that's so true.
you almost killed me and my dog. Pest
Yeah.
control.
Yeah.
Which happened, to be frank, a block or two from where you live. I almost
no.
got taken out.
I have bad neighbors.
But it happens frequently. I'm like, I like the culture. I like the sentiment,
I know.
but it's the worst.
Well, and it's just like, what is the point of being in that big of a hurry?
To come out of the alley where you gotta,
You have to maneuver through it anyway.
there's probably speed bumps. You're driving through glass, probably.
There's speed bumps. I'm sure somebody's dumpster's in your way.
Definitely.
For
Always.
sure.
Ugh. I should push dumpsters in the way to slow people down.
Honestly.
There was
make an obstacle course.
There is like at our old place. I saw this guy a few times in the last month. He's driving through the alley, like this old man driving like a silver minivan. He turns like his car alarm on while he's driving through the alley. So it's just
oh my god,
like for like
consistently.
And he's going slow.
Okay.
It's just going off. I don't even know how to turn the car alarm
That's crazy
on
behavior.
when I'm in the car.
I don't even know if we have a car alarm.
I don't know how it works.
I literally never heard it
I think
once.
I'd have to break into my car.
Literally.
I either accidentally hit the thing with my keys when it's in my pocket, or I'd have to like break into my car.
I used to be way more scared about like being the person who your car alarm's like randomly going off in the parking lot and you have no idea. That used to be like kind of a big fear. Like I was like, that has to be one of the most embarrassing experiences.
So embarrassing. Oh my god, that would never be me. Yeah. Oh, like on like the school like
yes.
PA system is like, and they have your license plates like
right.
Dylan Paris to the office, please. Your car
scary.
Is
worst nightmare. Yeah, I'm not a big proponent of honking, but I also just don't. That's never been my instinct. If you're in my way, I'm not going to honk at you. I'm probably just going to freak out.
Yep.
If I'm going to hit you, I'm just going to hit you. There's not really time for me to. It's not my reflex.
No.
And if I'm mad at you, like I'm not going to do that because I'm scared. And who knows? I don't
want to incite your road rage.
No. People take that shit way too seriously over here.
Yes, I'm working on. I contain my road rage. I don't retaliate in any way. And Darcy is like, you gotta chill out sometimes.
Totally.
But yeah, no.
My dad used to get bad road rage, and he would just kind of like scream in the car, whatever. But then he would like really tail somebody, and I'm like, you're gonna really piss somebody off.
That's a bad idea. Down here, I definitely do not do that.
Oh my god, no, scary.
No, that's too scary. Yeah. No, I'm afraid to use my horn. It's very much like a last, like unless it's panicky.
Yeah.
Like, it's the most like wussy, like.
Yeah. You can tell that you don't quite mean it.
It's kind of like when you like accidentally like step on your cat's foot or your dog's foot and it's like
oh my god, yeah, totally. I know exactly the sound. Yeah, that makes total sense. I think that is bad.
Moving on. Pedestrians. I think we have driver's ed.
Death penalty.
We'll get there. I think we need like a pedestrian education.
Honestly, yeah.
They don't. I had to pay for a class and get licensed as a driver. You used to have to pay for a class. Maybe it's free through the community college or the library, perhaps.
For the sake of being able to walk around.
I'm sure we have the governmental funds to support a pedestrian education.
Absolutely.
Nationwide. But you should have to be a licensed pedestrian.
That makes sense to me.
I don't know where you're going. People, no manners. People are walking on the wrong side.
Yeah.
I think we need licenses and you need human blinkers
for
walking. So we know which direction you're going so we can plan like, okay, I'm going straight. I have the right of way kind of here. So you either got to go fast and get around me or get out of my way.
There just needs to be a little more communication.
Yeah, I just want more social contracts with people. Like I just want more rules, unfortunately.
Yeah. Big proponent of rules.
As kind of a rule follower. And the rules usually are nice if everybody's following them.
Yeah.
That's me.
Do you jaywalk? Are you a jaywalker?
When it's very convenient,
You dabble.
I'll jaywalk for sure. I do think like if you're jaywalking or something and I'm like a normal pedestrian, I'm not doing anything weird. You gotta like yield for me though or something. Or if you're like going you have the hand.
Sure.
And you're like, oh, there's no one coming. I'm going to go. And I'm kind of going this way. Like, you got to yield for me, though, because I got the walk sign. So I got to let me do my thing. I also think get rid of the walk sign. Hand blinking, give me a number every time.
Oh, I kind of like that.
I don't know how long we have.
Yeah, so true.
Give me an estimate. Like, tell me how long is it going to take to cross this thing? Sometimes, like
those crosswalks that have like the big ones where
like
it's
45 seconds.
Yeah, that shit's so crazy to me.
It's like crossing a 6-lane highway or something. Like, that's
scooting along.
I've been thinking about that one. I'm like, why did we? It would save energy, light energy, perhaps. I don't know. It's just like
there's
space.
Gotta be something.
Like, I just don't know why we need this. Like, I don't know how long that person's gonna be up there.
Right. Well, and the flashing hand is not useful.
No.
Sometimes it switches into like a 10-second countdown. Which that is like, maybe I would have loved a 15-second warning.
Yeah. Just like, I don't know how long it's going to take me. And then people are still crossing when it says like, you got like one left and you start to cross.
Yeah.
You're like, how am I supposed to know?
See, I don't cross when it's like that. One, because I would never be caught dead running. I'm not gonna pick up my pace. Yeah.
Not running. You like a fast, like awkward.
Even worse. I would rather take the L and stay put. But yeah, I sort of like, I always think it's so crazy when people will just go for it. It's like you're actually asking to be hit by a car.
Yeah, people don't care.
No.
People are turning right on reds and they're gonna go through like on some of these boulevards. Multiple times recently, there's been a car that does the red on red and then they go through the second red light on Fullerton or Armitage. Getting very specific here, but we have some weird roads.
That's probably me and I'm fucking it up.
I'm sure you're not. But like the look that I give the other person as like this car zooms between us and we both almost got hit, we're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was exciting.
Driving around here to me is even scarier than driving like downtown Chicago, because like around the little boulevards and everything, people just do not follow the rules. Everyone's doing their own thing. Plus there aren't really as clear defined of like, is this a lane or am I just really kind of winging it here off to the side? Like, who knows?
There's kind of a thing where it's like, if you're downtown here, it's like, oh, this is like driving in the city like anywhere else, and then driving out here compared to that is like rural,
right?
Driving on country roads.
This is the wild west.
This is more like compared to like where you grew up and where I grew up. Like there's just like there are no rules. Like maybe you'll see a Greene County sheriff once,
right?
And you're going. People are like people used to drag race on my street. My older sisters told me,
that's
and that's
crazy.
why you could see some skid marks.
Really?
Maybe. I don't know. That could be heretical. I don't know.
They tattooed the street.
Crazy, man.
That is crazy.
So driving crazy on the pea gravel, those roads. Yeah. So sorry, I have lots of social faux pas. That's most of my stuff because I get annoyed with people. As a dog owner, people not picking up their dog's
oh my God,
excrement when it's
as a non-dog owner, I agree.
There are piles on the sidewalk.
Yeah, that shit's disgusting, literally.
I don't get it. Like,
no, same.
People should get off their phone more when they're walking around. That annoys me. I'm like, enjoy the beautiful day.
Right. This is probably like the one time that you go outside.
Yeah, pay attention to your dog who's dropping a big one right here on the sidewalk. You're walking on the sidewalk. Don't you want to get this out of the way?
Also, like, just from a social standpoint, aren't you fucking embarrassed? Aren't people seeing you? Don't you feel like an asshole?
Oh, when I've seen people, I'll be like, that person didn't.
Like, that's so crazy.
It's disgusting. It's like, I know you have bags for it.
Right.
Irresponsible.
I think so too.
Death penalty.
Okay.
Moving on. Yes. Getting influenced on platform of choice, buying the thing.
Okay, yeah.
And then getting the email marketing is worse than the Instagram influencer marketing.
So true.
Of something. I've bought something the other day that's like a wrist rest thing for keyboard and mouse, and now they're sending me all these annoying ass emails like, I bought the product.
Right.
It's kind of a one-time buy thing.
Me.
Yeah. I'm done.
Right.
Stop.
Please.
I could unsubscribe, I know. But like, what are you trying to do?
I will say, I feel like at work, I like a zero inbox. In my personal email, where of course I am, signing up for all of the things so that I can get my 15% off. I literally have like 30,000 emails, and that is so stressful to me, but I can't do anything about it.
You reach a point of no return.
Yeah.
I think that's why the whisk email dying was frankly like, it was a cleanse for me. Yes, it was incredibly stressful, and in my brain, I thought I was going to be locked out of my TurboTax for ever, and I worried about that for months until finally I just logged on to TurboTax, and I'm like, oh, I'm in. Sweet. Even though I know you're boycotting TurboTax. Sorry.
I am trying. I haven't actually done my taxes yet, so we'll see, because the closer I get, the more TurboTax is looking a little bit easy.
I think Monday is
sort of,
tax day?
Really soon.
Oh.
I have less than a week.
Yeah, I think I believe in you.
Thanks.
But yeah. The marketing, it's got to stop. I'm done with it. You've emailed me more than the ads I was seeing originally, and those ones worked. So,
well, and have you ever signed up for SMS messaging?
Yes.
Because nowadays, you don't just get the 15% off if you sign up for email. They actually trick you, and you sign up for that first, and they're like, oh, wait, you actually have to give us your entire phone number as well. And those are actually really insidious because I am like inundated. Now I have politicians texting me. I have my laser hair removal appointment reminders. I have all of these like 20% off this, reminder return your newly, all these fucking things. And I'm like, this was supposed to be kind of a safe place where only people I know were contacting me.
I'll start emailing you if you'd prefer.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We could just FaceTime. FaceTime's only.
No, literally. That'd
be kind of fun.
Wait until brands start FaceTiming you.
It'll be like an AI. It will be like an AI face. Like, hey, Dylan, check out what's new from.
That's so scary.
Fuzzy Funny. I don't know. Buy one couch bed for my dog, and they won't stop emailing me.
That's borderline harassment.
It's the worst. Let's see. Doing something fun at night, and you think about one thing at work, and you just can't get that work thing out of your head, even though you're almost positive it's just fine.
That happens to me kind of a lot.
Or it can wait until tomorrow at the least, and you're like at the concert, one thing popped into my head, and it took me like 5 to 10 minutes for it to like get out of your brain and focus on like, no, it's fine.
You're supposed to be having fun.
No, stop it.
I will say too, for me, I try so incredibly hard to like not be notified about work things. I have all my notifications off after hours. I have all the blockers up. I also don't have notifications on for anything on my phone because I don't want to know. Nothing that I do actually matters enough where if something goes wrong, like it is an emergency because I'm marketing products. Yeah. I am helping capitalism, and like that shit that I do just doesn't matter. So I try so hard to turn it off at night, but then if I happen to check my email, or like I slip into my work email or something, or even like sometimes it just works its little way into your brain and you're like, fuck, it's like this is me time.
It's like the opposite of an earworm. Like, so true. I don't know, there's got to be a term. There's probably some psychological term for like a little anxiety bug in your head that you just can't get rid of.
There's nothing worse, especially when it's related to work, because it's like, you guys are supposed to leave me alone in these hours, in my off hours. I hate being an employed person. I actually would love to stop.
It's tough. I don't know any other way. It pays my bills. So, and also,
so true.
If I didn't have a job, I don't know what I would do all day.
I actually think I could find some stuff.
Okay.
I think I could find some things.
Built different.
Mm-hmm. I love to do arts and crafts. I think that I would spend a lot more time out of doors, which would honestly be so good for me.
It's great out there.
It's so good out there.
I did like complaining on Monday, the day of the eclipse, that we finally get one sunny day and the moon ruins it.
Wait, that's so funny.
Because it's been nasty and rainy, and the day we moved, it was like rainy off and on, and then we got some snowflakes.
Classic.
And it was like
snowing.
It was like April 5th or something. I'm like, what the heck?
I know. And then all of a sudden it was like 70 degrees.
Yeah, and it's beautiful out, and I'm not complaining.
Did you see the eclipse?
To be frank, no, I was afraid to go. Well, we were so busy, and I think I just like was not online. Good for my brain.
Totally.
So I kind of forgot that it was happening, and then people were talking about it. I'm like, oh, and I knew, like, I can't look at it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know where to go to get glasses. I was not going to go out and find them. Like,
I just went to our Walgreens, but they were either they didn't have them or they were just sold out. I'm not sure, but I mean, he went day of, like maybe an hour before.
It's also not surprising that Walgreens, something would be going wrong at that Walgreens.
That's the worst Walgreens I've ever been to in my life. I hate it there.
If I hadn't moved, I would have had some beefs about that.
100%.
I got some beefs about the Walgreens. The employees, Darcy always says this, the nicest employees in the world.
Yeah.
When anybody else who goes in there, there's no line. The line culture there. Oh, don't get me started, man.
It is really bad.
It's insane.
Yeah.
People are always. Nobody can make a normal transaction at the front.
So
Someone's
true.
They're always like having to like swipe their card 3 times. Like, don't you ever buy anything?
Or like trying to return something. Like, it's literally Walgreens. What the fuck could you possibly be returning here? That's so crazy.
Whenever I've seen people with carts at that Walgreens, and that's when I know like something's off here.
No, 100%.
And then you see the cart like a mile away.
Yeah,
Walgreens.
right. Abandoned.
Yeah. But no, so I kind of just like was afraid to go outside. I didn't, and I could have fashioned something. I guess I had all this cardboard boxes. I probably could have fashioned something to go look at it. But
we did like the cereal box hack, but you still don't look at it. You just kind of can see the reflection of it, which I'm kind of like, okay, this is actually just sort of a sliver of light, but that's cool.
Did you enjoy it?
It was cool to be outside and kind of feel a little bit, it was a little spooky. I also felt, I don't ever feel pressure to look at the sun, but I was like, don't look at the sun, don't look at the sun. Like it was so hard.
James, like, look at the sun, look at the sun.
Literally.
Hey, Sam, look at the sun.
Yeah. And then we got back inside and I was like looking at everybody's phones and like, or looking at my phone, I should say. And everyone was taking pictures of the eclipse. And I was like, am I allowed to look at these? And James was like, you cannot go blind.
I kind of thought that for a second too. I was like, wait, I can't stare at this picture too long.
No. And it was kind of making me feel a little bit crazy, but I think it was all in my head. So
yeah, I felt bad that I wasn't into it, but
yeah,
I don't know. We didn't plan anything for it or.
No, totally. I didn't really care about it, but it was one of those things where I was like, I'm certainly not going to miss out. So I guess I'll play along.
Were you like a science girly growing up? You seem more of like an English language arts vibe.
I sort of famously didn't find science very interesting. And I certainly didn't like math. So
don't get me near those numbers.
Yeah. Not safe. But yeah.
I don't know if I have any more beefs. I mean, I can always have beefs, but
those are all good beefs.
I got 2 small ones. Ants in the apartment.
Oh, you had some, or your new place?
New place.
No.
Right when we moved in, we got the ant traps out, and I think we got it solved. So it didn't take long, but where'd those little fuckers come from?
I know. Which also is always a little bit scary because when you see one, unfortunately, there's probably like millions.
Yeah. There's like a mom and a dad and a brother and
right.
There's so many of those.
Ants also in the home, it feels very insidious. It's like you guys, it feels like a problem where you're just kind of hiding it. You can't actually get rid of it.
It doesn't feel good when I know that it comes from a colony.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
That's big. 100%. I assume. Like a colony is a lot, I assume.
Like if you really think about it, there are so many more of them than there are of us.
Exactly.
We should lose in that battle, but
it's crazy that there's like colony collapse disorder or whatever for the bees, and everyone's like, but bees are good,
right?
Why don't we need some of this stuff for the bad ones?
Yeah, seriously.
Even though I'm sure ants are good and they do something, and my dad
mom used to always do the trick of like she would like pour boiling water on like the piles of ants, and they're all doing that one gross thing that they do where they just like leap on top of each other.
Nasty.
It was actually like a really horrific. I remember that being a little bit scarring as a kid. Like it's kind of like a giant massacre.
Your mom kind of said death penalty.
Literally. So true.
My last one, just like I feel like I'm losing my memory. My memory is fried. Part of it is moving to the new place. Like I can never remember where I leave stuff, but also I think I just like
that's really getting to you.
I go to do something and I'm like, I came here to do one thing and I can't even remember what it is.
Yeah.
And maybe it is just old age.
Short-term memory. There it goes.
Ugh. I thought that like the one thing I could rely on, the short-term memory. So maybe I need to work on that, but
there have to be some cool memory exercises you could do.
Should I sit down and play a game of memory? Should I buy the board game?
Yeah, literally.
They should have I wonder if they have like adult memory, like
I actually
different
have
pictures.
it. You want to borrow it? I have this. It was like I think I got it for free from this woman. I can't remember if what she was making was felt or if just the case of anyway. It was at a little art show or like maker's market thing, and she was selling these little games in like this little felt case, and you didn't really know what it was. So I was like, sure, I'll buy one. And it's like totally a child's memory game, but feel free to test yourself.
That would be good.
At any time.
Test it. If I fail, if I lose, I'm at it for like hours. Darcy's so worried about me.
I feel like I have memory issues too, but nobody has a worse memory than James. Like his memory is actually in the garbage. Like he's never remembered a single thing a day in his life. It's so crazy. Like sometimes it actually blows my mind. And I can remember very specific details. Like I usually attribute things to what I was wearing that day. That's very much how I can like remember what was going on. And I'll remember what other people were wearing, and he couldn't remember like if he even had socks on today. It's so crazy.
Fashion memory is a very specific. I feel like I've heard other people say those. I feel like I have some specific sense memories for like. A lot of times I have like podcast sense memories where I was
sure.
or I've like been here and I listened to this exact. I remember where I was when I listened to this exact episode or when this exact thing happened. I also feel like I get deja vu from dreams.
I get deja vu kind of a lot. Yeah,
it's spooky.
It feels like my mind is just playing tricks on itself, but it is so like, I think I did this already.
Yeah. I have like memories of like that happening when I was in like middle school or high school, like near the football field. Like I remember this happening in a dream. And then I remember college very vividly, a few like dream deja vu things. Yeah. I was like, I've been here before.
It is such a bizarre feeling.
And you can't explain it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's frankly maybe worse than like explaining a dream to someone.
So true.
You can't explain it. Like hearing people's dreams, like, I get it, but like it's just never gonna. It's not the same when you try to explain it to someone else. Unfortunately,
so true because they weren't there.
Yeah, and then deja vu is just like they don't have that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's just different. I don't know.
Do you remember most of your dreams?
No.
James doesn't either. Maybe that's a memory thing too. I feel like I wake up and I remember most of my dreams. I randomly the other day had a dream that I like was stealing something from Target. Like they're getting a little bit kind of like, okay, Samantha, pull it together. Do you steal at the self-checkout at Target? No, I'm way too scared. I heard Target is of all the places you should never steal from there.
Oh, they're cracking down on it.
Oh, really?
The self-checkouts. I know they're like changing the hours and stuff.
Okay.
I feel like I just heard this too about Target where they like let you do a bunch, but they have like record of it, and then they'll hit you with like a federal, like a big
felony.
thing, a felony. That's it, not a federal,
a federal crime.
Wait, Target's gonna death penalty my ass?
No, literally, they like wait until you store up like $1,000 worth, and then I think if that's like the numerical, like they can charge you with like a felony or something. Theft.
Like, I was good in gather. I'm a good in gatherer. Like I'm not a hunter good in gatherer.
Yeah, seriously.
That's all I am.
I know.
I need some cashews. I was just there and the cashew bags were open. I was like, I'll steal this.
Oh,
they're
totally.
open. Like there's
somebody else already did.
Bro, like from the side though. It was like the seal was off.
Oh.
It's like gross.
That is gross.
Gross.
Completely gross.
Disgusting.
Death penalty.
That's a good one.
It is. I think I'm going to steal it.
Let's bring it back. I'm going to
start saying it. Well, this is a phenomenal episode. It was so great to have you back. I knew when I started doing the Good, Bad, Ugly that like you would have some good ones.
Thank you. I hope my beefs were not too controversial.
No, I think
it was mostly me just complaining about other people and how they should really live life more like how I think the world should be.
Get it together.
Which is my unfortunate kind of selfishness, probably being like, you should.
Well, it's kind of like everyone should accommodate for me.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
people need to make my life easier. That's kind of the whole point. It's my world, and everybody else is just living in it.
Exactly.
Makes perfect sense. Well, thanks for coming on this pod. This was so fun. I'm sorry James didn't cook you a meal today. He just didn't have it in him. But next time.
He picked it up. He did the manual labor of going and getting it. And
so true. Delicious matzo pizza, mata pizza, whatever it's
pizza
called.
Mata?
Pizza mata.
Pizza mata.
So close.
Yummy.
Well, thank you guys for listening. I'll be back to chat with you again next week. And I'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.